Does the society exist for the individual, or does the individual exist for the society? Depending upon the answer to this question, the way we educate our students would be vastly different. I'm opening it up to you. I'm saying, does the society exist for the individual, or does the individual exist for the society? Depending upon the answer to this question, the education system, the entire process of education, our entire view of education would be very, very different. How? Yes, help me with this.
While doing the disintegration, we are trying to integrate the student with, like you said, given us the example of result. So we are trying to integrate with the result. So all the teachers, they are trying to integrate with the result. We have a common goal for integration. So while doing the disintegration, we are already doing the integration.
Right, wonderful. That is deeply related to this question. What is to be integrated with what? Is the student to be made to leave his natural seat and be integrated with something that the society wants? Society wants you to have good results. That is one kind of social wisdom, that you leave your seat and do what we want you to do. That's what you are saying. Don't be integrated to yourself, be integrated to the result. Which is hardly possible because I can't leave my seat. Try as hard as I may, I cannot become something else. Cosmetically, artificially, I can wear some clothes, some mask, put on some makeup, display some mannerisms, but I cannot really be anything else other than what I really am. Howsoever hard the teacher or society may try, the student cannot be made to go away from his essential nature. If you do that, you will only end up splitting him. Your efforts may split him, but they cannot change his fundamental reality. Yes, but answer this question first. Does the individual come first, or does the society come first? There is a particular reason why this question must come right in the beginning.
So the individuals collectively form society.
Yes, good. So what does that mean?
Depending upon the situation.
No, who was the one? Yes, speak please.
Actually, individual collectively forms society.
The individual forms the society. Yes, so
And we cannot say that individual exists for society or society exists for individual. After their integration,
what's your name, sir? Prateek. Prateek, I have formed this mic. I have created this building. Isn't it obvious what exists for whom? It's man who has created the mobile phone, the individual. Isn't it obvious what exists for whom? Would you ever say that the man exists for the mobile phone? You're very right. Your observation was most accurate. Man has formed society. So what exists for whom?
our society cannot go for only one individual.
Beta, the individual comes first or the society comes first? You never say only one individual, because the individual is always only one. There are never couple of individuals. Individual means one, indivisible, one. Yes, tell me. There is me and there is Prateek. And we say that Prateek, let's have a particular code of transaction between you and me. That is the society. You and I were there even before the society. And you and I will be there even if the society does not exist. In fact, there is nothing called the society except in man's mind. You and I are living realities. Society is a concept. Do you understand the difference? The concept can go away. Concepts come and go. That's why societies keep changing. The individual is the fundamental unit. Man made society so that he can benefit. Man made society for his own sake. Society is meant to serve the individual, right? Why did the individual make the society? So that his needs may be met. So what exists for whom?
Society exists for the individual.
And it is imperative upon every individual that he lives in and creates a society that serves his fundamental needs best. A question that needs to be then asked to us is, because day in and day out we are with the students, we are spending such a large proportion of our lives in our profession, in our life work. We are meeting the students. So many lives are all the time around us. It is not a small matter. It is very, very important thing. We need to ask this question: what am I doing to the student? Am I turning my student into someone that the society needs? More specifically, why does this campus exist? Does this campus exist as a factory in which raw material would come in and socially acceptable material would go out? Is this campus a tool of the society? And who is the teacher? Is the teacher an agent of light or an agent of society? If the teacher is an agent of light, he will bring the student to himself. But if the teacher is an agent of the society, then all he will do is turn my student into someone that the society wants. Today the society wants IT engineers, produce more and more IT engineers. Demand is coming there, a factory model. My society is greedy and competitive. So make my students greedy and competitive, because that's what my society has ordered, and I am an agent of the society. So who am I? An agent as a guru. Am I an agent of light or am I an agent of society? Retail management is picking up. Produce more and more students so that they can be absorbed by the society and meet the society's needs. Tomorrow real estate would be booming. So produce more and more students in that specialization. The society wants the individual to submit to authority. So as a teacher, what will I do? I will produce students who are deeply afraid of authority. You remember the words authority and conformity that came to us? Do you see what might really be happening? That there is a prevalent order outside, a prevalent way of thinking outside, forces prevalent outside the four walls of the campus. They are sending their kids here. And what am I doing as a teacher? Changing the kid into something that the society can use. That is the importance of the question: does the society exist for the individual or the individual for the society? There is a mutual dependence, I understand that. But which of these two comes first? That has to be really, really understood. See, there is a reason why in ancient times and even today, the Gurukuls and the best universities of the world are located away from civic locations. Where do you think were the Gurukuls established? Right in the middle of the city? Were they right in the marketplace? Is that so? Yeah, respond please. We are having a living interaction, right? Respond. Was the Gurukul in the Sabzi Mandi? And if you look at today's Ivy League institutions, they are not at all in the thick of the city. In fact, they are mini townships by themselves. Once you are in there, you don't have to remain in touch with the rest of the world. Why was that done then, and why is that being done even today? Why? For the reason that the teacher and the student both must be shielded from the society. The college, the school, or the university is not at all a social institution. It has to be away from the society. The teacher's role is not to produce socially acceptable goods in the form of students. The teacher's role is to give guidance to the society itself. Right, wonderful. She's saying that in a mini campus, the students are there and the teachers are there, and that is one society itself. Is there a difference between this society and that? Yes, obviously there must be a difference. And that is the responsibility of the teacher. It was not welcomed that even the parents meet the child too often.
But sir, at that time, teachers.
I'm talking of this time as well. I'm talking of this time. That's why I said, look at the best universities in the world today. It is the first and foremost responsibility of the teacher that his values are not social values, that his mind is not a social mind. Otherwise, he will just act as an agent of the society.
What's the harm in being an agent of society?
But then you would only be doing what is anyway happening outside the campus. What is happening outside the campus? Stand at the campus gate and observe. The world outside, let's take the example of this road itself. You just stand on the campus gate and look at the road. What do you see? You see a highway which is frequented by traffic jams. That's the world outside. If you are saying what's the harm being like that, then let's understand. You are seeing holdings that are dripping with fear and greed. You are seeing factories that have all been closed down because of lawlessness. That's what you see on this road, right? You are seeing accidents daily because people have no control over their mind. You are seeing that even though a flyover can be constructed, yet it cannot be constructed because a few people do not want their livelihood to be affected. Just stand on the door of the campus and observe. Observe the movement of people, observe their faces. See how the world goes about doing what it does. And then you ask yourself, what is happening outside the campus? Should I let that happen inside the campus as well? Is that the role of a teacher?
Then they have to live in that society only. Will that not be disintegration?
Yes, wonderful. Yes, of course. But you see, when an individual is woken up, he spreads lights to others. Her question fundamentally is, if within the campus the student acquires a different mind, he is deconditioned, what will happen when he goes back? That's what you are asking.
Exactly.
He will do exactly what you were doing in the campus. What were you doing in the campus?
We were trying to make them disconditioned.
Yes. He will continue the same thing outside. Like one candle lighting the other. You lit him up, he will light the other ones as well.
But then we were talking that we are creating a campus which is teacher and the student. So we had created a campus which was not disturbing him. But when the child is going outside, the campus, the society is not like what he was getting in the campus.
Right.
So will that not distract him over there? Will
that will distract him, and that will be his test. That will be his test. You gained something here, you understood something here. Now when you move out of the campus, there are other forces upon you. Now what happens to you?
But then when we are putting him under test, that means there's a fear of failure and success.
If fear is still there, then he has not gained anything here. You see, light and darkness are always engaged in a fight. That does not mean that light is afraid. Fear is a characteristic of the world outside. It is always afraid. Always afraid.
Sir, but why are we supposing or presuming outside world people are not enlightened?
We are not supposing anything.
No,
We only, we are saying stand at the gate and look, not suppose, look for yourself. We are saying spread today's newspaper and look. We are saying flip through the TV channels and look. We are saying ask yourself why the temperature today is more than what it should be. We are not supposing that man has gone mad.
Not supposing. What I am saying is, we are presuming the people outside or the world outside is not enlightened. But one day they also joined some college and took some education. and came out.
Right. And that's such an unfortunate thing, isn't it? That the people, we said they are dripping with fear and greed, they are all products of some college, school or university.
Now, see, the basic question here is how to remove fear. Now, if everybody is able to remove fear from himself, then I think things will be more better.
Right.
But could you please tell us how to remove this fear?
No, there is no question of removing anything or doing anything unless first its existence is acknowledged. You see, it's quite possible that I become so habituated to living in fear that fear appears normal to me. That I start saying,
Defect. This is defect.
right. So what should we first do? We should first dig out the fact of fear. We should first say that please acknowledge that fear is our engine. That we live, eat, breathe, teach just because we are afraid. That has to be first acknowledged. And it is not normal. We were not meant to be that way. We were not born that way.
But it is not bad. If you are in fear, it is not bad.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
It has been told, Tavat Bhayam Vedapyam Tavat Bhayam Nalagatam. Agatam tu Bhayam Pratipriya Vedapyam.
But why is fear not bad? Do you understand that? That is being said to someone who is already afraid. For him, fear is not bad, surely. Kabir says, भय से भक्ति सब करे, भय से पूजा होए, भय पारसे जीव का निर्भय होए न कोय.
Whenever we are in fear,
Understand this, please. Because you are already in fear, hence only fear can be used to make you fearless. That's why the scriptures and the saints say that it already exists. The mind is already caught in fear. Now use the fear to become fearless. Are you getting it? Because nothing else works upon you. Your mind has been conditioned so deeply. Yes, ma'am, something you want to say? Your mind has been conditioned so deeply that nothing else works. Freedom has become a foreigner to us, and fear has become our engine. Make us afraid and we will work. Don't make us afraid, we will not work. Now, when the mind has come to that kind of a situation, then even to make it fearless, the tool of fear is to be used. That's the reason why the Shastra or the Sant will say use fear. Otherwise, the very opening verse of most scripture says, those who will read it will become fearless.
The mind is already occupied with fear.
Yeah.
If we lose more fear of it, it will become depressed. Then it is more mental conditioning. In order to remove fear,
In order to
remove fear from the mind.
remove fear, yes.
And to try to think positive, we have to motivate the life so that we can become fearless. Not include more fear so that it is.
Beta, what is motivation? What is motivation? Do you understand the word motive? Motive means greed. Motive means if you do this, you will get that.
We have to use fear as a tool.
Yeah. So when you say motivation, you are actually using fear itself as a tool, because greed and fear are two sides of the same coin. Motivation is greed and greed is fear.
Motivation is a different.
No, motivation is greed. Do you understand this? I have a motive. What is my motive? If I do this, I will get that. And that is greed. And greed and fear are the same.
What you mind? I just want to say that you are motivating for winning, not just because you will be able to win, just because you will the confidence that you
What is confidence?
think that you can think that you can do on yourself.
Beta, when you are speaking to your friend, do you need confidence?
I think I confident because I think that you are
When we speak to our parents, our kids, our friends, do we need confidence? Or are we just simply speaking?
Because we are fearless.
Because we are.
Fearless.
When do you need confidence?
And we have a fear for a
So, beta, confidence again is fear. There can be no confidence if there is no fear. Right now, I am not confident at all. Because I have no fear. So, what is the need of confidence? But that's how we live. We use words without understanding what we are saying. Motivation, confidence, fear. The first role of a teacher is to have this clarity. Is to have this clarity. Otherwise, you will only try to motivate your students and make them confident without realizing the damage that you are doing to them. Your intentions will be very good. Your intentions will be very nice. Still, the students would be harmed day in and day out, and that is what has happened over such a long time. That is what someone was saying, that all the people you see walking on the road are anyway products of schools and universities. Why are they like this? Why are they like this? You see, you go to a railway reservation counter. Have you seen the man sitting on the inquiry desk? Have you seen that man? Have you seen how irritated and flustered he is? He is the product of one of our colleges. Probably a backbencher who never wanted to attend college. Same thing is happening there with him as well. Education has taught him to somehow survive boredom. Our education has taught him that even if you are feeling bored and dead, continue doing. Next time you go to railway station, look at the man who is sitting behind the inquiry mic. See how irritated he is. And yet he is continuing, just like our students. Deeply irritated, yet continuing. It's obvious that he is a product of our education system. It's obvious. The man outside is so afraid he cannot raise his voice against authority. And what do we do in our classrooms? These are Newton's laws, take them. Maxwell's equations, take them. Now, if he is blindly surrendering to a Newton or a Maxwell, why should he also not blindly surrender to a bureaucrat, to some priest, to some politician who taught him to just accept? Who taught him? Here you teach him, compete so that you can come first. Tomorrow, if he competes with his neighbor, my neighbor has 2 cars, I need to have 3 cars. Who taught him this? You taught him that if the entire class is getting 65%, you need to have 75%. Tomorrow if he says that my neighbor is earning 65,000, I need to earn 75,000, who taught him this?
Society.
The agents of society, and that is the society does not have time, so the society sends its kids to us.
No, not at all. I mean, this college, everywhere you will get.
I'm not talking of this college.
Everywhere you will get.
Yeah,
the teacher.
yeah.
Your parent is also your teacher.
Not only everywhere in India, in the most of the world, that's this thing. And not only educational campus, you are very right. In the house, on the playground, in theaters, everywhere this is happening. Because education is happening not only in the campus, he's being educated everywhere. Yeah. But we are in the campus. And we are looking at our role, our life, right? Our role, our life. Let us first of all, for once, realize and feel deeply grateful that we are teachers. Deeply grateful. Let's say a big thank you to circumstances that for whatever reason we landed in this work. Somebody produces shoes, somebody produces bottles, somebody makes flats, somebody makes aircrafts. We have been brought by destiny to a point where we are actually making human beings.
But that is fearful students. We are producing fearful students.
Yes.
Because we are also fearful.
Yes.
So how to come out of this situation?
Yes. We'll get into that. In fact, we are already doing that. We have to firstly acknowledge the deep gravity of our role. The deep gravity of our role. And then, from that acknowledgement, will come a sensitivity to everything that we are doing. What is the message that we are passing to the students? What message goes to the students if 40% of the syllabus gets covered in last 10% of teaching days? What message goes to the students if in internals he is assured that he will get 40 out of 50? In university exams, the fellow cannot manage 30 out of 100, but internals he is assured of 40 out of 50. What will he do when he gets outside the campus? And is that also not what is anyway happening outside the campus? Once you will realize how far your actions go, then automatically you will know what to do. Out of that realization, the right action will emerge. It's not blaming. I know the circumstances. I know very well that this is not happening in one campus. I know that this is the norm across this university, and not only this university, in this state. Many states. I'm saying that after being aware of the conditions, in full knowledge of the conditions, I'm saying. So we end this paragraph saying that we must remember whether we are here as agents of society or agents of light. A little bit of remembrance, a faint remembrance.
Neither light nor source. We are.
Yes, sir. You have this
Society. We are the servant of the society.
Servants of the society, not even agents.
No light. We are not.
No light at all, huh?
You can.
It need not be. It need not be like this, sir. It need not be like this. I mean, our life is an opportunity, right? It need not be like this. If it has come to this, you fully well know that you are not happy with this. Neither am I, nor is anybody else. And if we are not happy, we must do something about it. Huh? We have a life to live. We see so many young people here. They have a long life to live.
the irony of life is, till the time we realize where our happiness lies, it is all over.
Yeah, but then it might just lie where we are. So there may not really be a need to search even.
I want to request you.
Yeah.
Last about 10 minutes here. These discussions here, we should include some new things for the teachers or mostly us teachers. So if you can give some ideas how to be a good teacher, how to be a good person,
Not needed.
how to be a
I'll
good
follow.
person, all the benefit of the society. That is what
You see, what are we doing? We are saying, I will remain what I am. You give me some tips so as to do better what I am doing. The first thing you remember what I said, that faculty development can be looked at in two ways. One is, give me some shortcuts, some tips, some methods, some techniques. The other is, please, can we use this time to look at ourselves, and then no method will be needed. Then no method will be needed. We want to escape from the basic fact of our being. We have kind of given hope. We have given up hope. We are saying that there nothing can be done. So please give us some sweet pills. I have not given up hope. And sweet pills do not help anybody. Do not ask for sweet pills. Sweet pills will only aggravate the disease. Do not ask for them. And it's not so difficult. Your argument might be that, we do not have time or resources for a long winding development process. So quickly, can we have 1 or 2 or 3 useful things? It cannot be useful because the user is the same. If I am violent, anything that comes into my hand, what will I do with it? If I am violent and if I have a revolver, obviously I'll shoot somebody. But if I am violent, and even if I am given a book to read, what will I do with the book? I hit somebody with the book. So it's not a question of giving you something to hold. It's a question of realizing what we are. Please understand the difference. Nothing needs to be given in your hands. The fundamental nature of our conditioning has to be understood, and then things will change. They change dramatically, automatically, without even your trying.
You mean to say that the conditioning is to be removed?
Conditioning is to be seen. Is to be seen because the remover himself is conditioned. So there is no question of trying to remove the conditioning.
Now, question is how to see that conditioning ourselves for our own use, and
Wonderful.
then
Nice,
there
very
is nothing
nice.
to guide to the student
Very nice.
because they should be allowed to see their conditioning themselves.
Right. We can, if we are saying
So
that,
all the institutions should be closed.
if we are saying that we need to first see it ourselves, then we can keep the students away for a while. How do I look at a thing myself? Wonderful question. Sir, how are you listening to me right now? What technique are you using to listen to me? And are you understanding what I'm saying? Using what technique? Are you looking at me right now? Using what technique are you looking at me? How did you understand all that I said? Did you require some tips? Did you require a formula? Simple. Pay attention. Don't let arguments and thoughts block your mind. Just as you are deeply attentive right now, pay attention to life. But you will not pay attention to life if you are already determined that you know something. If your mind is already building up an argument, then you cannot listen to me. Or you cannot listen to life. You will not see the obvious. When you said, how do we know what the society is like? I said, stand at the campus gate and see. It's obvious, simple. What method do you require?
What is the meaning of being an agent of light?
Good. First of all, let's acknowledge that being an agent of light is something different from what we are currently doing. Because only that will give us energy. What brings the patient to the doctor? A realization that I am sick. Only that gives the energy to the patient to go to the doctor. Otherwise, the patient will never go. In fact, the patient may die but will not go. It's not realizing. First of all, there has to be a humble acceptance without any kind of self-pity that right now things are a little amiss. We need not fight with that acceptance. We need not feel bad about that acceptance. After all, it's happening in the entire world. But first, let's accept it right and proper, with no resistance. With no resistance.
Meaning of right.
Right and proper in the sense, completely, without any reservations.
We are living in the consumer world. Even if we created a very good product and no one is accepting it, it's useless.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because the product will not be sold in the market.
How many such products have you produced or seen?
Software field, there has been 70% product which has been created by the software developer and the companies. It has not been accepted by
Human being is not a dead software. A dead software exists so that some computer may run it.
So that's why I asked, what is the meaning of right? For you, right may be different. For me, right may be different.
Forget right. I'm saying without reservation, except when you say that what is meant by being agents of light, without reservation, let's first accept that right now something little here and there is happening.
We have been taught in our moral classes that we don't have to say any lies in our life. Lie, बोलना चाहिए. But even though if we will not say, pass such kind of a statement, we cannot survive in the current world.
Beta, if you are drunk, what's your name? Shwetab. If you are deeply drunk, and I ask you, and you are my friend, you want to tell me the so-called truth, right? I ask you, how many fingers are these? What will you tell me? You're drunk, you're deeply drunk. What will you tell me? How many fingers? And you are my friend, you want to tell me the truth. You have been told in your moral science classes, as you just said, that one must always speak and one should not speak lies. No, you want to tell me the truth. How many fingers are these? What will you tell me?
5.
You're drunk. What will you tell me?
I haven't experienced that.
He has to drink first.
What will you tell me?
He may not know now.
I haven't
You might just be drunk. When you say that one must always speak the truth, there is a small prerequisite for that. A very, very small prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? To speak the truth, you must first know the truth. And how can you know the truth when you do not look at life with clear eyes? Your moral science classes have alright told you, do not speak lies. But have they also told you how to look at the truth? Everybody is trying to do good things according to his moral science classes. But the world is full of murderers and rapists and corrupt people. And all of them were given moral science lessons. All of them were told by their mother, don't be violent, love everybody, don't speak lies. And look at the man on the road. Where has all the moral science gone? Where have all the religious doctrines gone? I am repeatedly trying to bring us to the point that we first clearly look and acknowledge the fact of what we are doing. I enter a classroom. What do I do? What do I start doing? I have something prepared for the day. I'm either carrying my notes or a slide, and I start writing. Have I bothered to pause and ask, what is this happening? What am I really doing? What am I really doing? And that is called looking at life directly, honestly. My entire day, from morning till evening, what am I doing? What is the condition of my own mind from morning till evening? How do I feel when I leave home for college every day? How do I feel when it is 4:30 or 5 and the time to go home has arrived? That is called looking at life directly and honestly.
Analysis every day.
No, not analysis. Hosh. Awareness, not analysis. Analysis would be thinking. By the time you think, that moment is gone. When I came here last time, I said a simple thing. I said, if we become aware of our own discomfort, from that a certain lightness will come. And that is all that matters. If you can be light in your classrooms, then you have already become agents of light. That is what is meant by being an agent of light. Be light. Don't be loaded. And that is so simple. You need not ask what can be the most modern and wonderful techniques of teaching. Just feel good. And the day you feel good in your classroom, your students have already obtained from you what they must get. Are we sensitive to ourselves? Do we ask ourselves, today is another day gone in my limited life. How did I spend it? Today I met 2 groups of 60 students each. What was the quality of my interaction with those 120 people? And it was an opportunity. What does the classroom mean to me? A classroom need not be a sweatshop in a factory. A classroom can be your theater. A classroom can be your playground. We need to ask this to ourselves. Initially, it will be a little discomforting. Because when we'll see, we may find that, oh my God, what have I been doing? What have I been spending my life doing? Just initially, a little bit. Take that discomfort and then everything will change. When you are joyful, that joy will reach your students. In fact, you may forget your students. You be joyful, the joy will automatically reach your students. What you have anyway reaches your students. Do we understand the significance of having somebody with us for 4 years? Do we understand the significance of living? You won't be here forever. I might not come to this campus again. Who knows? Time is finite. And you need no analysis, sir. It is obvious. Don't you know how you are feeling right now? Do you need an analysis for that? Don't you know? I'm saying be sensitive to your own knowing. That is agent of light.
Their problem is, if we know ourselves and we ask the student that they also know themselves, at the end of it, then how this courses and other things will be covered? And will the student not ask, have I come here to learn about myself or my course?
Sir,
Will it give me B.Tech degree?
what makes us think that this is an either or situation? I have to give you this piece of paper. I can either extend my hand in love, compassion, kindness, friendship, or I can throw this paper at you. What makes you think that I can either be loving or I can give this paper? What makes you think that you can either be joyful or you can complete your syllabus? Why has this kind of cynicism taken root in our minds? That if I have to complete the syllabus, then I must be dull and boring. What makes you think that way? That if I have to complete the syllabus, I must be dull and boring.